Are we live? Hey everybody, Real Estate Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. We're going to talk about the Richmond Fed Manufacturing Survey. It crashed to the lowest level since COVID. Philly Fed services back into contraction. That is the title of the video that we're going to be doing. Sorry, the title of the story that we're going to be going over out of Zero Hedge. It says the slump in soft survey data continues this morning with disappointments from the Philly and Richmond Feds. The flashing red signals for U.S. manufacturing flashed redder this morning as the Richmond Fed survey showed manufacturing activity plummeted to a negative 15. This is its lowest level since the shutdowns, the COVID shutdowns. This is not good. To say that this is at its lowest level since then everything was shut down, locked down. So that means manufacturing is not happening in America like it was before. Our economy is contracting. This is bad. This is why we've been preparing, saving money, getting out of debt, and getting ready to take advantage of this, because most people are going to be absolutely blindsided. Do me a favor real quick, and let's just get the crazy chatter going on in the live stream and tapping those little emojis and stuff, because it'll help get this video out, because people need to wake up to see what is truly going on. Now, it says here, under the hood was a crap show with new orders sliding further into contraction from a negative 14 to negative 16 and employment collapsing from negative 1 to negative 15. And you could see their small chart here, right here with employment and wages. Does that look like a healthy economy to you? Now, looking back, that chart goes back to January of 2019. So you could see during the entire shutdowns where we were and now where we are now. This is not good. This is just yet further proof and further confirmation that you are doing the right thing by preparing and not blowing money, by saving money. All right. Now, the capacity utilization index plunged also from a negative 8 to negative 27 in January. It's crazy when we're dealing with all these negative numbers, right? This was with about 1/3 of respondents reporting a decline in capacity utilization since December. And while a manufacturing recession is not breaking news, the narrative shapers just claim, well, services will support it. Services. So, do you think in this economy, as things are contracting and people in manufacturing have less work and there's less money to be spent, that services, people are still going to be paying this much for services? How do you think the restaurant industry is going to fare as more and more people get laid off? As the government keeps lying that, oh yeah, jobs are doing great, when they're not full-time jobs, they're part-time jobs. People are working longer hours, they're stressed out, they're mentally shot. This is a big deal, but it's not a big deal until the mainstream media tells people it's a big deal, right? Because that's who we're supposed to listen to. We've seen it before where people freak out. These insane liberals are freaking out like, you should be listening to us. We're supposed to control the narrative. You're like, you're an idiot. But hey, I guess that's why channels get suppressed that say that kind of stuff. You could tell how frustrated I am lately. So again, it says here, while manufacturing is not breaking news, the narrative shapers just claim, well, services will support it and 70% of the economy, etc. As the Philly Fed survey slumped back into contraction in January. This is a chart. The red line in this chart shows, hold on, let me grab it real quick. The red line is the original survey prints, which were revised. So the original line right here is the red one that was higher. We've now just slumped into contraction. The green line is the revised line. It's not good. It's not good at all. As a matter of fact, this chart going back to 2022 has only really, they've lied a couple times and said, look, it's positive. It's positive. It's positive right here. Positive right here. But the green line, the reversion line, is the truth. Our country's economy is slowly collapsing. Slowly. But since it doesn't happen fast, you know, most people, what I would call simpletons when it comes to economics, because they speak or they think they know something and they don't know what's really happening. They're not watching the revised numbers, and it's not good. It says here, under the hood, it was not as ugly as Richmond, but we do note the part-time employment index increased from a negative 0.5 to from 0.5 to 10.2 this month. That's the highest reading since June of 2022. Additionally, price indicator readings suggest continued increases in prices for inputs and prices for the firm's own goods and services. The prices paid index moved up 2 points to 33.8. Over 36% of respondents reported higher input prices. Isn't that crazy? At a time when the Fed is saying that they're sort of getting inflation under control. Weird. And remember, those prices, those increases get pushed off to the consumer to a point where the consumer says, no, I'm not buying anymore. Simply like put IKEA. When furniture sales were collapsing most of this year, now IKEA's come out and said, we're dropping prices. Well, of course, that's what happens. And then their margins get stuck so hard or just collapse their margins, and then they start laying people off or they start closing down factories. That's what comes next. That is the evolution of an economic cycle to the downside. It says, in closing this article says, isn't it interesting how the survey data is so heralded by the optimists, commission rakers, and asset gatherers when it's up and rising, but not so much when it's down and falling. And that's so true. The mainstream media is always screaming the praises of the White House or screaming the praises of the Fed when things are going good, but when things aren't going well, they're staying quiet. You know, seeing economic cycles before and investing in and out of them in my life has been interesting. Twice, 2 cycles. The .com build up and bust I was a part of, and I've told the story before where I sold my retirement. I put it into bonds right before that bust, and I did really well. And then selling my real estate before that bust. But what's really blown my mind, and I always knew that stuff's manufactured, data's manufactured and lied about and all this stuff. And the money changers always want you to think that they know everything. So just give them your money and let them invest it. Simply, I mean, that's how our whole world's been built up around the money changers, and that they know more than you, and that you should trust them with your money when really they're taking your money and they're making tons of money off of it and giving you this small little pittance of interest. It's a joke. And that's how our society has been raised up. They've been raised up to believe that they don't know everything. They're not the pros. Go get the money to the pros. And they're raping our civilization, our economy. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I wish more people knew how this stuff worked and the lies that were perpetrated. Just going by revisions, looking at how, a company comes out with earnings or, before earnings come out, their ideas, and then later on it's lower than you thought, or they revise it down, and nobody cares about the revisions. All they care about is the next data. They're just addicted. I swear this feels like 1928 all over again. Everybody's just looking for yield. Inflation's rising. They're just investing, trying to search for yield, and the bottom's about to fall out. I hope the bottom isn't about to fall out for you. I hope you have money in savings separated in multiple banks. I hope that you have debt that you're paying off, or that you're out of debt completely. Hashtag debt free if you're debt free. Or put down below, I'm getting out of debt, if you're trying to get out of debt right now. Because both of those scenarios are great scenarios. Both of them. Those that are building up debt, those that are looking the blind eye or turning away from reality, they're going to get caught up in this. Look at how many people right here are getting off of debt. How awesome is that? That's the real power right there. And I'm telling you what, I thank God every day that this cycle hasn't completely turned downward, because that gives me more opportunity, you more opportunity to get out of this, to get out of this rat race and take back the wealth of a nation. I thank you to everybody that hits the subscribe button on this channel and the bell icon, because that's the only way pretty soon you're going to be able to see these videos. I hate the term "it is what it is." I do everything I can to fight it, to get the information out. But some things are just out of your hands. Thank you so much for watching. The Real Estate Ninja is out.